Hey, ladies and gentlemen, folks of all ages. Thank you for being here and taking a look at my video. This is essentially the precursor to my Reynard the Fox. Reynard the Fox was a prominent figure in European folklore known for his cunning wit, the trickster persona. Originating in medieval Europe, the character of Reynard became central to a collection of allegorical tales that not only entertained audiences, but also commented on social and political structures. These tales, collectively known as the Reynard cycle, evolved over time and found new expression through various mediums, particularly in art and literature. I had personally just started drawing at the end of August, and I fell in love with black and white art and wood cutting art, and art that is generally based on wood cutting is something that I absolutely love to reproduce. So this is something that was particularly important to me. Allert von Everdingen went ahead and made specific art between 1650 and 1675 that was premiered in the Met and premiered specifically in the Cleveland Museum of Art. Unfortunately, it's not available for us to see outside of going online, but it was gifted to the Cleveland Museum of Art, made it to the Met at one point, and is known. Allert had done, I believe, at least 8 of these, where they were wood cuttings. A wood cutting is a piece of wood that first is drawn on top of and then is cut through different ways and different means. Of the ones that he did, this is one that I picked that I wanted to do. It's when Reynard lies that the rabbit insulted one of his children. So this had a lot of detail, and every line was important in this piece. Every single line, every single piece that he did was so important in the details. And the reason why is because we're reversing the woodcutting process. So we don't have the drawings that are previous to the wood cuttings. I am making it as I go using tracing, and you can basically only do tracing so much because of how thin and how frail the lines are. So I did half tracing and half actual drawing, and it took a lot of time. What you're seeing here is me tracing it on stream. I stream at twitch.tv/thetedster from time to time, and I just wanted to show that I had done as much as humanly possible. I went ahead and attempted to do this entirely in pen. It took a very, very long time to do it, but it came out amazingly. The reason why I did this originally, and it took me about 3 or 4 weeks, is because I wanted to display something that was just something I had learned. I had self-taught myself much of the techniques. I had asked my friends who were art experts and spoke to a few people in regards to how to draw professionally, and just learning as I go with the techniques that I learned, and I kind of came out with this. Reynard the Fox really kind of reached out to me because it felt like something that, since we're walking into such a political storm starting in November, that I thought that it would be really neat to add something like this to an arts and science competition. As I had considered the arts and science competitions that were coming up, the thing that I had seen that I had never gone to before was an arts and science competition called Ghosts, Ghouls, and Goblins, and it's typically ran by the Barony of Carillion. It was ran in New Jersey. I participated in their competition, their arts and science competition, and they had also hosted Iron Bog's arts and science competition. As I looked at the prompts, I saw that there was one thing that was really, really important, is that the Iron Bog competition asked for flora and fauna, and as you can see, there was a lot of flora and fauna that was involved in this piece. So I decided to compete in the Iron Bog competition. Now, this piece does take place between 1650 and 1675, which is technically outside of the norms for the SCA. Normally you want something 16th century and before that, but the story itself resonates between the 11th and 12th century. So, generally speaking, the information was based off of the 12th century, and so I felt that really gave it props. Between the 12th and the 16th century, Reynard's popularity was gigantic. It was translated into numerous languages: Dutch, English, and German. The influence was all throughout Europe. Interest in folklore and allegory and humanist values of the Renaissance. So it was a gigantic influence on kind of the way things are. We even have Disney's Robin Hood as a fox because of the connections of Reynard the Fox back then. When Allert von Evergingen decided to do what he did and create this art, he created it because there were artistic interpretations that elevated the character to new levels of complexity. He saw it as something to interpret the stories through the medium of fine art, and he saw it as a way to introduce the character to new audiences, including the elite, who may have previously viewed the tales as mere folklore. His art reflected the broader intellectual movements of the 16th century and the rise of humanism, and generally speaking, it was an invitation to philosophical reflection. He made these timeless pieces, and I wanted to show these timeless pieces and show how important they are to the people that were going to see them. So I wanted to offer them as much respect as possible. I won the competition. It was tremendously close. I was explained that one of the reasons why I won was because I was lucky enough to kind of stumble on the flora and fauna, but it was very, very close between myself and one other person that had recreated an entire necklace from scratch, and it was absolutely stunning. I do plan on considering doing more of these pieces and creating almost a slideshow for another event that's coming up called Bacale Yule. Bacale Yule will have the King and Queen of the East there. If you are familiar with the SCA, I'm currently on the path both as to become a pelican and to become a laurel. I haven't decided which path I'm going to take to become a laurel yet. I specialize in cooking primarily, but art's been a lot of fun. I've changed kind of the way I think and the way I do things to reflect the art that I do for the SCA and I do for other people. I love creating poetry and sending nice messages to people and just being artistic and creating that interpretation for the world. So I was very happy when I won. It was my first arts and science competition that I'd ever won before, and I'm very proud to be a part of that and become the arts and science champion for Iron Bog. I'm looking forward to doing something for the baronial arts and science competition at Pennsic. I haven't made a decision as to what I want to do there yet, and generally speaking, I have a lot to go, a lot to learn. I didn't do it on my own. There's no such thing as doing anything on your own. You kind of learn from everyone around you. But if you made it this far, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you've done. If you've done anything for me, which typically you have, even by listening here,